everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Katie, and today I am doing my least favorite books of 2023 video. So what a perfect little mug I have today, because we're going to be grumpy and talk about all the books that we didn't like this year, that was our least favorite. We're going to have fun and talk about them, let you know why I didn't like them. So yes, I did not plan this mug. He was just up here for videos, and I was like, good job, Grumpy. We'll hang out together and talk about being grumpy about books. It's perfect. So he's going to hang out with us today. All right, so I have my list of books here on my paper. Yes, I'm old school and I have paper because it's easier. Sometimes I have a phone, sometimes I don't, because I film on my phone and I use somebody else's phone if I need to. Okay, so least favorite. Oh, there we go. So I don't have a lot, only because some of them I kind of forgot what they were about. So I was like, well, I can't remember why I didn't like them. They're not going to go on this list. All right, so least favorite. I'll go from my best least favorite to the worst least favorite, if that makes sense. Like the ones that I hated the most are going to go at the end. So there. All right, so first off, we have The Princess and Curdie by George MacDonald. I'm so sad that this made the list. I loved the first book, but the second one was just so boring and nothing was happening. And it's called The Princess and the Curdie, or yeah, The Princess and Curdie, but it's all about Curdie. I don't even think we see the princess. It's like, I thought she was supposed to be in here because that's the title, you know, so it didn't make any sense to me, and I just found it so boring. But I did like the first one, so that made up for it a little bit. I didn't put star ratings next to any of these, but just so you know, they most likely all got 1 star. Next, which is kind of sad, honestly, I actually put one of my favorite authors on here. It was a reread for me. I can understand why I made this list. So that is A Bride Most Begrudging by Deanne Gist. She's one of my favorites. I love her for clean historical romances. I love her. But I reread her very first book. Didn't realize it was her very first book. And I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. I don't think she got her writing style in that first book. She gets way better. But that first book, it was also, it wasn't super risque, but it was quite risque for a Christian romance. So yeah, so for that, I don't know what else really. I couldn't get into it. I found it kind of boring. The writing style was really not up to her par, so no wonder it was her first book. So, and for her first book, honestly, I just didn't like it. I love her other books way more. Probably most of her books have, well, even that one at one point probably got 4 stars, but 4 and 5 stars for most of her books because I do love them. But that one just, it wasn't that great. And I do get why other people say she has a fascination with ankles. She does. Like, well, I mean, back then they didn't show their ankles, so it was kind of provocative for them to have that showing back then. So, but she does have a fascination with ankles for some reason. All right, the next one on my least favorite list is The Seide Corpse by Martha Jocelyn. This is the last book in the Aggie Morton series, which is based off of Agatha Christie, if she was a child, whose best friend was Hercule Poirot. I didn't like it. I did not like it. I can't remember if there's anything that I didn't approve of. I think there might have been something in that last book, but as a middle grade perspective. But I didn't like it. I found it boring. It was like kind of a cliffhanger ending, kind of, and I did not like it. I was like, the rest of the series was fine. I enjoyed them, but that last one, I was like, it was such a downward spiral slide from the rest of the series that I really enjoyed. That last book was absolutely terrible compared to the rest of the series. I did not like it. I did not enjoy it. I think, honestly, it was probably my highest rated of the bad stuff. I think I gave it like maybe 2.5 stars. But I was like, no, I didn't like it. I'm sorry. I just didn't like it. All right, the next one was Dawn Raid by Pauline Valwega Smith. This was about a girl. I can't remember too much about it, but this was about, it's supposed to be about I know it was supposed to be about racism and about kind of like the rebellion that was going on in that country. I can't remember what country right now. It might have been Cuba, I think. But for some reason, for some reason, the character was just so fixated, and the author was so fixated on just daily stuff. It was weird. It was like all she really cared about throughout the entire book was getting a pair of go-go boots. That was like to me, after reading it, it was like the main plot line was for the girl to get go-go boots, and nothing about the actual turmoil that was happening in that area. All I remember is the girl wanted go-go boots. That's all I remember from it. And I'm like, this is the most boring thing ever. And it didn't have that big impact that I was hoping it would. So yeah, it just, no. Can't believe I actually remembered that much about it since it was in the beginning of this year. All right, the next one was Race for the Escape by Christopher Edge. This was a middle grade fantasy, sci-fi. It was weird. It was very weird. It was like an escape room type of situation where they find themselves in this escape room. And they found themselves all in these different rooms. They had to go from room to room. But there was like no connection between the rooms. Each room was talking about way different things. Like there was a room with like, kind of like, I don't know if it was space or sci-fi type thing. Then they had a room that was in a random mall somewhere. Then there was a room where it was in like some kind of Aztec temple or something like that. That part I didn't like. They were starting talking about false gods and stuff like that. I'm like, really? You had to add that in there? So yeah, no. But there was just such a disconnect between all the rooms. I'm like, there's no connection, you know? And even in escape rooms, if they have different rooms, they're always connected. This one just was not connected, and so I didn't like it at all. So the next one that didn't make my list is The Crush by Allison Kennedy. So this was a book pick in my book box that I got earlier this year. Sorry to say, it was not a favorite. It is a series. I don't plan on continuing this series, unfortunately. It was a very low age YA Christian book, but it was so disheartening, very depressing. I felt like there was really no hope at all in the book. Honestly, probably should have DNF'd it. I did not like it at all. The main character was very, from what I'm remembering, she felt very shallow to me at first, and also there was no break. Like, I feel like most authors get that sense of like, if you're gonna have a bunch of sad things happening throughout a book, you have to have a break somewhere just to kind of relieve that pressure. This book did not. This book was just depression upon depression upon depression, and I was just like, I wanted nothing to do with the rest of the series. I'm like, nope. Even if the rest of the series was like, you know, getting better or whatever, it was just so heartbreaking. It definitely had triggers of a lot about suicide, and I'm like, it was just very, very depressing. And I'm like, no. So if you're going to go into that book, make sure to have conversations, because it was a very tough read and I did not like it. Okay, and I do have this one physically. Sad to say this one made it on the list. I'm sorry, because I did get to meet her and she's a lovely person, and I will read more books of hers in the future, but this one unfortunately made my list. And that is A Long Time Coming by Robin W. Pearson. She signed this for me. It's the only book that I had by her, so I'm like, I'm going to sign it and I am going to keep it. But it did make my list of least favorites, and I'm so sad because I wanted to love it. But it's one of those books where I've said in the past that I hate family drama stories. I hate them, and this was the case with this one, and I'm so sad. But I kept it because she signed it, and I do want to try more of her books. Just this one missed the mark for me. Definitely geared toward family drama, and that's really all that there was. There wasn't like a big resolution or anything to the story or the characters, which I was hoping for. But yes, it was just a family drama story with nothing else, and I'm sad to say it made my least favorite. Okay, and then we're going to my top two hated books of the year, or the least favorite, whatever you want to say. Here we go. Grumpy, are you ready? Okay, coming in on top 2 is Unexpected Stories by Octavia E. Butler. Now, I know a lot of you love Octavia E. Butler. I tried Kindred last year. I think that made my least favorite. So last year, I can't remember. It was just, it was okay, but I've read so many better historical fictions than that. Unfortunately, it was just not for me. It's okay. It's fine. I think I gave it 3 stars, so it wasn't terrible. Maybe 2. But Unexpected Stories by Octavia E. Butler was so bad. It was so bad. It had some risque parts in it. She's known for that, so I'm not going to read any more of hers. I read that one because of a prompt that said to read an Octavia E. Butler book, and I already read the other one, Kindred, so I read this one, and I did not like it. It really wasn't too much explicit, but I think there was some swearing in it, but it was just so weird. There was 3 different sci-fi stories, and I don't know, again, they were really disconnected. Like, I don't know if they were supposed to be like part of the same, they were part of the same collection. They really felt disconnected for sure, and I did not like the characters. I did not like the alien. I remember only one story was about aliens on a different planet and something, I don't know, but all I remember was that I did not like it. I will not be reading any more of her books. I don't like her writing. Unfortunately, she's not for me, and that's okay because I have way more authors that I love and enjoy. So she is just not one that's not gonna top the list, but that's okay. Oh, the mailman came. Anything good? Oh, really? Seriously? Mailman? 1 envelope? Sorry, mailman came. Only 1 envelope. Nothing good today, apparently. Okay, and now we're coming to a rant. I've talked about this book before. He's ready. I'm ready. Are you ready? My least favorite book of the year was No Exit by Taylor Adams. Yeah. I did not like that book at all. And I am a thriller junkie. I love thriller books. I don't read as much as I should because I do love them. But so I decided to give this one a shot, thinking, ooh, I heard there was this big surprise reveal. I heard that it was very thrilling and stuff. And all I got from it was literally an adrenaline rush junkie book. There was no plot line really to it. I guessed 95% of the reveals throughout the book. I was not surprised at all. The ending surprised me a tiny bit, but it wasn't as big a reveal as I thought. And I'm like, I did not get it. It was very violent also, which I was like, I can take some violence in my books and movies. I can. But not that much. It was quite graphic in the violence. And I was like, really? Like, it was just, I did not like it. That was my least favorite book of the year. I did not like it. I will not be reading any other books by that author. Like, just not. It was very graphic. A lot of language too. And I was going to DNF it. And I was like, well, I wanted to see what the surprise reveal is. Wasn't worth the pain and agony. Pain and agony. Right, Grumpy? Yeah. He's like, don't read that book. Yeah. I mean, if you liked it, I mean, it's definitely an adrenaline junkie type of book. But I did not like it. I thought it was not great at all. It was terrible, and yes, so, I mean, I did try it, because I heard good things, but definitely not for me. That's okay. Alright, so, obviously, I didn't have any of these books physically, except for the one because it was signed, and she is a very, very sweet woman. I love her. But, yes, so, those were all of my least favorites. Let me know what your least favorite books were this year. I really want to know. I really want to know. Let me know down in the comments. I want to chat with you. If you love these books, let me know if you've read these. Did you enjoy them? Did you agree with me? Did you not agree with me? Let me know, and we'll talk down below and have fun chatting together. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all tomorrow for the next Bookmas video.